Hey, what's up? This is Václav. Hey, a couple of months ago, Home Assistant got a great new feature, local calendars. What you can do with local calendars is you can schedule events locally in the Home Assistant directly from the user interface. So you don't have to create them in your Google calendar. You don't have to have a Google account. You don't have to integrate them over the internet. But you can create them directly inside Home Assistant. Together with that, they have created this great user interface where you can create events, you can edit them, delete them, you can create recurrent events with number of types of schedule. This could be daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. And when I look at that, I thought that it looks very similar to the garbage collection custom integration I have created a couple of years ago. It's very similar, but it's better because it's much more tightly integrated to the Home Assistant. There is a whole team behind that, and it's gonna keep only improving, unlike my custom integration, which I just basically keep fixing whenever it breaks because of some change in the Home Assistant. So I thought I'm gonna make an effort to move from my custom integration into this standard core functionality. One of the reasons is if you guys are using my custom one and if you're gonna move there as well, more people are gonna be using this local calendars. So there's gonna be probably more pressure and more great solutions for this core functionality than if you were just using my custom integration, and the development effort will be focused in the right way. So this is what I thought, and this is what I have done as well. So I have moved all of my automation from my custom helpers to using the local calendars. And in today's video, I'd like to show you how it's done. So you can follow me as well. Let's see. So let's create two entities for two types of garbage collection, one for general and one for bio-waste. We can create 3 or 4, but I think for the demonstration, 2 are gonna be fine. So we're gonna go to settings, device and services, and we're gonna create the local calendar. So we're gonna create local calendar, we're gonna call it garbage and submit it, and it's being created. Now we can go to the calendar, and you can see that there is a calendar called garbage created. And on the bottom here, there's a button add event. So we can add an event, and let's create a recurrent general waste collection. So I'm gonna call it general. And I'm going to say it's gonna be from today, and it's gonna repeat weekly every 2 weeks. And add an event, and it has created that. But I made an error because I have created that from 8 to 9 o'clock. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to create it as a whole day event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it, and I'll say edit event, and I'm going to click on all day event, and I'm going to save it, and it's going to ask me, do you want to update only this one or update all the future one as well? And I'm going to confirm it, and it updated all of them. So this way I can easily edit the whole schedule or individual events as well. I can add new ones, delete individual ones, or delete the whole thing. So this is a great feature, a very easy interface to manage them. So let's create the second one. So let's create event for the bio waste, call it bio. And it's gonna be all day event, and I'm gonna go for Thursday the 6th, and this time let's go for monthly. And for monthly I have 2 options. I can say it's either repeating every month on the 6th, which I don't want to do. I want to repeat it every month on the first Thursday of a month. So I'm gonna add it, and you can see it's added on the 6th, then on the 4th, then on the 1st, and so on. So every month on the first Thursday of a month. Now, if I go to the developer tools, to the states, I can see that there is a new entity, calendar garbage. It's currently on because there is a collection today. I know that it's a general waste because this is in the message, and it says it's on the 11th of April. So I know that there is a collection today. Now, if I would go back to the calendar and if I would move that to the other week, so I will start from the 4th and I will save all the events. Then if I would go to the developer tools, you will see that the current state is off. So the current state is on if there is a collection today, and it's off if there is no collection today. And there is a start time of when the next collection is going to happen. And I know the next collection is going to be a general waste collection on the 18th. This is good enough. I think it's quite useful already. I think it's about 80% to where I was with the garbage collection custom integration. But what if I'd like to have a different schedule for each type of waste collection? This could be done as well. So let's do that. Let's first do some cleanup. So I'm going to delete all of those events. In fact, I'm going to just delete this whole garbage calendar. And I'm going to create a new one. But I'm going to create a separate calendar for each of the garbage type. So I'm going to create one for general. And I'm going to create one for the bio. Okay, so I have two calendars now. If I go to calendar, you can see I have two. And now I'm going to create the events again. So I'm going to call for the general, I will go for today. I will say it's weekly every 2 weeks and it's a whole day at event. And I'm going to go for bio. And here I'm going to go for whole day. I'm going to go for Thursday, monthly, every first Thursday. Now it's important that I need to select the right calendar to add this event to. So I need to add this one to the bio collection calendar. So I'll add the event. So now I have two calendars, one for the general waste and one for the bio waste. And if I now go to the developer tools, I have two calendar entities, one for the bio, which is saying that the next one is on the May 4th. And it's currently off because there is no collection today. And the second one is for the general waste, which is on because there is a collection on the 11th, which is today. So we're almost there, 90%, I would say. The only thing missing is in the custom integration, I also wanted to see number of days until the next collection. And I don't see it there. There is not such an attribute. But we can create it very easily through the templates. But before we create the templates, we can debug them in the template editor. So I'm going to delete the default one and let's create a new one. And this template is going to be using the state attribute. And I will go for the bio. So I'm going to copy the name of the entity. Then I need the attribute and I will again pick the attribute start time. I'm going to copy it because I'm lazy typing. Close the bracket, close the curly brackets, and it's going to return the value of the attribute, so the May 4th. So all the thing I need to do is now I need to take the today's date. So I'm going to say now, and I'd like to deduct it from that date. The problem with that is this attribute is returning this as a string and now is returning as a date time. So I cannot make arithmetic operations between the two. So I need to somehow convert it to a number. So let's do it differently. I'm going to show this one as timestamp. So this is a number. Specifically, it's a number of seconds from January 1st, 1970. But it's not important. What is important is if I create a timestamp for another date, for now, then I can actually calculate the difference between the two. So this is the number of seconds between those two dates. which is interesting but not very useful. So I need to convert it to days. So how do I convert seconds to days? I need to divide it by, there is 60 seconds in a minute, there is a 60 minute in an hour, and then there is 24 hours a day. So I have 86,400, just copy it and paste it in here. And now I have it in days. So it's 23 days, 22:14, but I like to see 23. The reason is I'm using now, and I should actually be looking at what's the difference between not the current time, but between the midnight today. So I will actually not use now, but I will say today at midnight, and it's at 23. So this is the formula I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna just copy that, and I will paste it into my configuration.yaml, and I will create a new template. And I will create template for sensor, and it's gonna be a name, and this was bio days, and the state is gonna be a template, and I'm gonna paste this one in. I'm gonna save it. Then I'm gonna go to my Home Assistant YAML, and I can check the configuration, and it's fine. And then I need to reload it. So I'll scroll down, and there is a reload template entities. So I do that. And when I go to states, and now when I search for the bio, I see two entities. One is the calendar, and then there is the sensor bio days, which shows 23 days. It shows 23.0 because it's showing it as a boolean. So I'd like to change that. So I will convert it to integer. I will use filter int. But if I do it this way, it will only convert to integer the 86,400 because this pipe has in Jinja always a preference, so I have to close it in brackets. I hate it, but that's the way it is. So I'll go back to YAML, template entities, states, and we are on 23. So this is great. So we know how many days there are till the next collection of the bio-waste. There is one more thing missing in my custom integration. I also, in a state, I didn't have a number of days, but I was having number 0 if it was today, 1 if it was tomorrow, and 3 if it was sometimes later. And the reason I had that because I was using a picture entity card, and with 23, unfortunately, the picture entity card doesn't have a state for default, so that wouldn't work. So I need to normalize this state. So what I'm gonna do is but I still need the number of days, so I'm gonna actually copy that, and I'm gonna copy it into the attribute, and I'm gonna create an attribute called days. And for this one, I need to cap it to number 3. So if it's 0, it'll be 0, 1 is gonna be 1, 2 is gonna be 2, but anything more than 2, it's gonna be still 2. So I need to say this is gonna be minimum of the 2 values, either this if it's less than 2, or 2 if it's more than 2. So let's see that, and I actually am pretty confident this is gonna work. So I'm gonna copy it, and I'm gonna go for general, and I'm gonna do it for the general one as well. Save it, reload it, states, and here we go. So the state is now 2, and it's 23 days. If I go for general, so general is state 0, and it's 0 days. So they'll work. So this is exactly the same as I have for my custom integration now. And I actually already use it in my production home automation system. So let me show you what I've done with it. So I have here this custom card, which is showing all of the garbage collections I have. And if I show you how it's configured, if you ignore the top part for now, it's using picture entity, and the picture entity is for this template sensor we have just created. So this is general days. Forget about the name, I'm gonna get to that in a second. And then there is the state images. It's either 0 and it'll show the green picture for today. If it's 1, it's going to show the amber picture for tomorrow. And if it's 2, it's going to show the off picture for, that's the picture in here, for any times later. So it's 2 days, 8 days, and so on. Now, in the top part, I'm using the custom config template card. And the reason I do that is I'd like to have a template for the name, and in the name I'd like to show the number of days. And so what this config template card does is I can create a variable, in this case days, which is taking this attribute from the sensor general days attribute days. So this is the one that we have created, this attribute. I add D at the end, and then I have to say in which entity I'm using in the template. And then what I can do is I can use this variable in this card like that. So this is how this card is configured, rather simple. This is the first one, second one, third one, fourth one. They're all the same, except they're using different entities for the different garbage collection types. So that's being it. Not too complicated, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that because it's a standard functionality out of Home Assistant without any need to install any custom integration, it's going to be overall better solution, and it's going to find more users. It's going to be more useful overall. So let me know if you like that, and I see you in the next one. Bye.